We're learning Torah. Emma like a hound.
I'm keep back. Those the back.
It's based Torah that the Rebbe takes us into a new life, a life of Kesher to Rebbeinu Shalom. So it's Tefillah. As we learned, this is it's miyuchat to the Rebbe's koyach because he opens up the Midas HaRachman. So as we mentioned, there's Seven Tikkunei Galgal, the Tikkunei Midas HaRachman, our Ein Echad HaRachman, Rav the Rabbin, and we have Chutme, which is look for the Pardaska.
Neat.
And when that doesn't come to us, that Shefa, so we have no Urish to Tefillah. When Nukva Pardaska opens it up, it's like, it's what Tefillah makes. It makes a Ruach Chaim, which all the Urish are Pneumius, it's just Taklas of the Brocha. And that's what we have to do through Tefillah. But we need that Osiris. Without that Osiris, without that pull, without the thing that we believe Hashem is listening to us, and He showed us we need, then we just don't do it. That's where we are. That's where we're stuck. And in this Maimar, Rebbe opened up to us a new world and says, I'm asking you to use your power. You have a power. Our power which is Tefillah, talking to Hashem. Don't lose it. Use it. As we've learned. Now, when Ozbeis Rebbe explains that this Kli Zayin, this Koyach of Tefillah, goes together with Kedusha. I believe we explained that the Rebbe talks about Prince Yosef, Shmir Sabris. He talks about a person that has what it has to be, that has that level of really working on himself. But we also explained that the Rebbe mentions what most people have a thing that are, it's called, fix up a car, you bring it to the garage, what do? Overall, that's what people need, So the Rebbe does this overall, right? He does this overall, this is what people need. And this job we have to get through is what the Rebbe wants to do. That's his sword. He gives us a sword, and he gives us the curve to fix everything. So let's just see what he says, that what? The Haina, the Prince Yosef, to be Mikabel, this Cher, you also need Prince Yosef. As explained to Yosef, it says by Yosef that he got the Cher from Yaakov, which means you give it to him also the power of fixing everything. And it's explained, it says, Chagor Chab B'chal Yorach. So Yosef Sheshuma Sabriz, Nuteles Abchoyre, Sheprinas Avodas Atfile. Yosef was not the Bchor, Reuven was the Bchor. And Yosef, which we find by him, the Satsainya, so the story, it's a whole make-up story. It's interesting that if they go down to Mitzrayim, went down to the lowest level, and it went through such a funny story, interesting story, which is interesting in the life of a person in many ways, right? And the Torah tells us how he said, no, it's not true, and he went to jail for that, went through for that. So here's Yosef, it says, Shmir Sabris. So Nutan Esabchor, he got from Yaakov Avinu, he became the Bchor, Pishnai. Just to his two Shvatim, Menashe and Ephraim. Levi goes to a different category. Levi is the category of Sata, which is missing for everybody, which is what we miss when we don't have the Snikfot Padarska. When the parasha is now, so Bamidbar, Nusa, the of Levi, Hartam is B'nai Levi. Levi is over the Levi, he has to do the Avodah. He has to do he's getting out of emptiness, a void, getting out of a shikha, getting into it. So really that's what Menashe Ephraim is about. It's the fire that if you have that, you don't have that. If you have the Tahara, which is Yosef, so you have that kesher with the Rebbeinu. So Bechor is avodas tefillah. Bechor is avodas tefillah. Why is Bechor avodas tefillah? Because avodas tefillah is pi shnai. Tefillah is pi shnai.
Yeah.
In the tefillah. The Rebbe explains why they say that what Yosef has bris, so he takes the Bechor. Okay, so what does it have a kesher with tefillah? He says, oh, tefillah is pi shnai. Tefillah is called Bechor, and it's called pi shnai. Why is it called pi shnai? Because there's two things in tefillah: shivcha shalmokim, saying Gedulas Hashem, and feeling Gedulas Hashem, and getting yourself on fire for Gedulas Hashem, feeling that, and getting yourself very involved in that, very solid in that, very picked up by that. And Sheilas Tzruchav, the emunah that you can ask Hashem and everything for yourself, for the other people, and Hashem listens and He hears and He helps, and it brings a moich and it brings a shefa. So that's why we can say that that Bechor is called pi shnai. Tefillah is pi shnai, right? So Bechor means pi shnai. And Yosef got pi shnai. So what did he get? He got the avodas tefillah. Why? Because but here it says the story of bris, the whole shleimus of bris, and all tzaddikim are called Hashem Yosef, Tsaddik bris. And with that b'chinas, it says this is the b'china of cherev pipios biyodam. The pasuk says cherev pipios, so it says that the cherev, which is the cherev of that klizayin of Mashiach, klizayin to bring, but it's a rachman as we mentioned, right? The klizayin to Mashiach, the klizayin to bring in rachman, to bring in Amtakas Adin, what Mashiach does, bring in the Ge'ilah. V'cherev is pipios biyodo. Cherev pipios biyodo. You need a cherev of pipios. So it says the cherev pipios. I mean, cherev pipios has to choose two things: shivcha shalmokim and shelas tzruchav. So we see the poshet that if you have bris, right, you have the cherev. Because it was zeicha the pipios. So it's a pipios pi shnai. V'nitam mirayim. So we saw Reuven was a Bechor. He was supposed to have the pi shnai. Why did he lose it? Because he was mechalel yitzia ovef. Okay, let's try to explain what's going on here. First thing, what did Reuven do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. What did he do? He mixed his nose in places not supposed to mix this in. He says, Yaakov, the Tsaddik says like this. I think it should be like this. A lot of people think, it should be like this, should be like that. Right? So everybody has ideas. The ideas of Tzaddikim says, I don't think that's right. It's not what I understand. So that's called Pramabris. That's what it's called. That's what it says over here. Over here, Rebbe shows what Chasar Bris means. That you don't feel that innocent pneumius, you don't understand the pneumius. And so you can't really mix yourself into anything. So you make a lot of mistakes, which has become a mish, but we'll see right away. So we just mentioned this thing of Reuven, and we have to understand this thing of Yosef and Bepashtus, right? And what it says here in the Haggadah, the Inyan of the Gematria of Padashka, all the Shemus HaKodesh, which is Ab, Sag, Moban, and all the Bushim banks, Kas, Kano, Kasu, Kano, Kamo, Kano, which is a gematria Padashka. So first thing we can understand this thing very, very plain, that a person which has a closest to Hashem, a keshes to Hashem, because he's not in the ksilas, in shtus, and he's not being in golas of a tumadik place. So he's out of the tumas, so he's out of that store. So he feels close to Hashem, so he can talk to Hashem. He's close to it. If a person lives in a place which is the Tzaddik Racha, it's very hard to talk to Hashem. If he lives in a place which is in the middle, the Noiga, it's very, he can't find this urus to talk to Hashem.
See that?
And all the feelings people have on these two levels are, this is what people are about. But they're very far from Amunah, very far from Tefillah. Very far from concentrating on davening. It's all the machshavas zaros the world. You want peace of machshavas zaros, you know. Machshavas zaros usually go away when you feel Hashem. If you have the machshavah living in Hashem, you feel closeness to highness. So these all are the feelings which you need something which is called midas harachman to get you out of. If you're not there, you're not there. So the Rebbe says that I'm giving you a sword. I want to give you the sword. I mean, that's what he talks about. He says, I want to help you. I'm going to help you. As we say, we explain that. What it says, Hashem, that he gave that. We explained what it says, he says, I want to do tshuva. Remember, there's a chayav nekemes, what all the problems. So we're talking about somebody doing tshuva. So wait a minute. So you said before that there's a chayav, and the Rebbe says there is a chayav for you. So the Rebbe says, I want to give that chayav. You got to do something. So you got to do something. What do you got to do? That's something. That small something you can do. I say, I can't do the whole thing. And I don't know what will be later, how I'm going to hold on. Because Shmir Saris is not only bris, it's all the towers. It's all the inyan of a person goes into Medama. It's all like one package. It starts with Achila. It ends with making money and COVID. And the ditch is being far from Hashem and in a place which is shtus, a ruach shtus, which is for no reason. And this is what happens to people. So really, this is the goddess. This is what Mashiach has to come for. Really, this is what Mashiach comes. So the Rebbe starts over here that there's a klizayim for Mashiach. He means that I'm going to get you into Kedushas HaBris. Because this is what Mashiach is going to do. Mashiach is the one who's going to fix up a person, his nefesh. Like that person has nefesh, ruach neshama. You have to fix up this part to have a nefesh. Well, you don't have that. That's something that goes on here. What happens to you? Comes the Rebbe says, it starts about tefillah. I'm giving you the power to be mishpala. So it says, I'll give it to you only if you have Shemir Shabbat. It means you'll never have it. Right? But no, but as we explained, he does remind the posik of B'chalbi B'kashti, and the Inyan Chagar Chal B'chorayt, and Mepriot B'tacholush is the Chiselach Imish Mirbanecha, right? And we explained it before, right? That it means start again. So in other words, the Rebbe was telling us, if you just start every day, never look back, right? Start being Mekadosh yourself, Kedush Sachila, where everything starts there. Start being Mekadosh yourself and being close to Hashem. Don't go close to the places which you forget. Get into Torah, thinking machshavas of Yerushalayim. Because the minute you lose that, you go out. Now the koich of Torah, the Rebbe says the main koich of becoming an Elohim is Torah. Because you're always busy with something which attaches to Hashem. This is how you get back. So when prison Mekabel that all, right, which is this brisi is called the Torah. That's what it says, I'll give you the sword. I'll give you the whole sword right now. Okay, so what happens? Okay, so we look at it in a plain way. What happens here? What happens here is a person, there's a shra on him of Kedusha, and he feels, I can't talk to Hashem. So this is a shra of chizik that the Rebbe gives us, the shra of Osiris the Rebbe gives us. It looks like it's, Mashiach Nefesh, it's words of Nechama, words of chizik. It's Shefa from the Rebbe, that's what it is. It's a Shefa Kedusha. The Rebbe has some way just to pick you up, get you out of wherever you are in a true way, which is something interesting, You get out the person, whoever you're falling out, right now, get up. You're more than a kud of toiv that you do have breath. You're more than a kud of toiv that you'll make it. More than a kud of toiv again, simcha, chias, and so that's what he gives us, really. But he says, you start first. So all we need is this start. That's what's going on, right? That's where we come out. So we understand. Then when a person is close to Hashem, he's the hero, we call it. Shmir Sabris is the hero, so watch what he does all the time. So he feels close to Hashem. He has a simcha. He can thank Hashem. So thankful and feel gedulas Hashem. He can daven and to heal him. Because he doesn't, he can't talk words for Hashem. He's like closed up completely. Then this is what, and he's very, very into Bilbunim, is very into Machshavas Zoros and whatever, and just can't even think about davening, whatever levels there are in this thing. Not whoever talks about this. Whoever's talking to you says, I want to give you a present. I want to give you a sword. You just start, I'll give you the sword. You'll fight. Because it doesn't mean I won't give it to you if you're not complete and nobody gets it. You just have to start. Right? So this is what it says. So where do we find this thing over here in Deuteronomy? I know that he says that. So that's what the Rebbe brings this pasuk. First, we'll stand at the pasuk. It brings the pasuk v'zeh b'chinas v'cherev pipios miuda. Right? Which is he's saying that there's a sword that has pipios, two kinds of sharps. No,
The blades.
The blade has two sharps, no, two edges. Okay. It's cuts on both sides, right? You go back and forth, So, okay, so that's what we call there's two shvachim. Well, wait a minute. When do we say this pasuk? This pasuk is sticking up bread. The whole state of Christmas Salamita, which is sticking up bread, which kills all the Katzainim, kills all the clippers, is this inyan of Becherev Pipios. Becherev is Gematria, the Reish Yud Vav, Elyon, and Tachten is three Abayas of Ab. It's also the inyan of the Takto, it's Abkal, whatever it is. It's in Malchus Ab, and this is what goes on. It's Cherev, Charboy, in Kriyashma, we have that, the main thing. Then later on, it's in the pasuk. What is this pasuk? This pasuk says over here, and then before that, but it says, this mizmor is chesed and gevurah. This chesed is include chesed, but we're called the gevurah there. So it's this right size as Yalzak Sidem Bechova, the Amram Mishkwas was chesed. Oim was kael begoinam becherev pipios is the gevurah. It's accessible. That means there's a chesed. Have you had some of that mizrah? Shiur Hashem.
Shiur Kudosh to Yosef HaTsaddik.
That's it. We say a bunch. I want to thank you so much. It's a mizrah of chesed. Shiur Hashem, Shiur Chodesh. Yosef HaTsaddik. We say it every day, yeah? Right, so. We're just done. This is the Shiur of chesed. Ashrei is like Malchus, the first kind of Malchus. The Kloli is a Kesef Malchus. The second one is the Malchus. The one that's Tiferes. The one wonderful, Whatever, and then that's Chod and Tiferes. And this is chesed, right? And Gevurah. So, Shiur Hashem Shechodesh. There's no song to say. To Yosef HaTsaddik. That Hashem wants to listen to. He wants to hear my tefillah. That's what we say. There's such a chesed. What's that? To Yosef HaTsaddik. Be happy. That's wonderful. Plus, there's a song like that. There's a song, right? It's a very happy song, yeah. It's a very nice song, right? It really picks up people. Wow. Thank you. You're almost scared of going now. The hair of Pipis. You're almost scared of to open my throat. Like this, I can't talk. Goren is Gematra Charoin, it's a Dinim. Right as Chel Regroino, Pipios, you have that Pipios, it's a Tsaddik Ibsio. Now this Pipios in the Kabbanas of Kriyashma, which are known, it's out of this world. It's like the biggest Kabbanas, which have every night. This starts the whole from down the shows. It starts the yichud of the whole day and the night. A new day comes and there's a new ticking. Kriyam Shabbos is like the beginning of the ticking of the new day. Chovt choice. It's like a whole thing, like the whole day after that goes on around that. That's three trillis in it, and all different mitzvahs, but everything goes according to that creation from Shalom, which is you start to have a kesher with the Eibishter. Because that's what Yisoid is. Yisoid means that Hashem made Shamayim and He made Oris. He made Shamayim, which is Ahava, Yira, Dveikas, Kvod Hashem. It's Ruchnis. And He made Oris. He made three elements. They're all like black, dark, completely. Mula, Neged, the Damas. This world, what happens to people in this world? But he made this world. He wants this cover to come out for this world. Als they come by going to Rezulum to fix the Shiur Sakenen, to fix all the Chatoim, to fight the war of Mashiach. Here we are. That's what it is. Hashem wants you to fix everything. He tells you can't fix everything. That's when Mishpat goes. This is the Kedor Hashem is Mahaduras. He picks us up to Shasa Koyach Gol to fix everything. What's the way to fix it? You have a what's these two piyos? So these two piyos, I'm going to create what it is. It's one side part of it is the Shefer Ram, the Shu and Yana with their full 5 and Yana, but it's very interesting stuff. It's the whole, the story of Ayracham, the story of Rachman, Gedoy, the Moed, then the story of Avim. It's 2 or 3 ways. In one way it is 3 various of Ab, and another way it's upside Woba. And what's Matru what's his Miluyan, which is like Padashka. So you just get the whole picture. It's like the Shemesh that the Rebbe reminds it. All the orders of these koiches are the cherev of a person. It's cherev, vicherev, charboy. There's a lot these things. I'm just reminding you that these inyanim, I think people understand that, but just get the picture. The Rebbe reminds here a pasuk, which this is sticking up his. So the cherev is sticking up his. So then the person asks, okay, so what can I do? Well, the Torah Tsaddik says, cherev PPOs, from relying the rachmim of Hashem. That rachmim is what the hamshach of Nikva the Padashka is. It's in these the Reshuv Elyon. These are the midas of Rachmim. This is, you can do it. What do you need? PPOs. What do I have to do? What you have to do is just start again. And what do you have to do? Shifra Shamokim and just keep on praying. That's what you have to do. What you have to do is getting to praying. And that's why this whole story comes out in the posik of Kila Bekashti, Bechabi, Bekashti. Yaakov Avinu says, I'm giving you Bechai the Cherev and the Keshes, which is the tefillah for the Nont, close, and the tefillah for Fulsan. Now we're giving it this chesh, I'm giving it to Yosef, which is anybody that starts a new haschol every day, which is Christmas Shalamita. It's the new haschol. At night, it's pitch dark, you're going down, you're putting the shchina down. We do it, we pull the shchina down into Bria. And then we give ourselves over to Hashem, close my eyes. Now you will my nefesh, as we said later also again, but those times be'er, do you know?
Sky become.
Which is the older tikkunin. The bar becomes a be'er, this whole tikkun of the shchina, everything. So relevant points to the pasuk, which is the tikkun. So now let's go back. What the Rebbe says that what that avodas atfilas pishadayim, shivcha shalmokim b'shelas solfos, right? Which means that a person is in the place of a war. He needs Mashiach to come. He is in the place where it's all the time. Now it's Nakuma by going to. You're in the middle of a war. They don't throw candy at you. They throw bombs, sulfur and fire. You know, it's hard, right? That's where you are in your life, and you think I can get out of this. And that's what Gamma Brispis, the cheshik today, which is called Yisoid. Yisoid is a tshuka and a cheshik today, but you're Ba'aretz, you're in this world, but you can be connected with the Shammai. Because Yisoid is coil left and right. So you have the right side of you as a chesed, Eibishter gave you on the Shama. The left side, he gave you work on the guf. And the guf is like covering up your neshama. But if you can wake up your cheshik to the Eibishter, it becomes a rutz, and it becomes a machshava, it becomes a tshuka. You're very strong, and you have to straighten it out. So how does it become that? How do you get to your side? How do you connect to your side? Right? So Yosef, right, he is his side. Right? Now Yosef, what does he have? Right? What did he get? He got the shtenus that's fit. What does it mean? So what? He got the way to shine into us, the way to get back to Yosef. The order of Yosef means Yosef has the way to make us get into Yosef, to connect with Yosef. How does Malchus select you? So he says merit to Malchus, build him up, then the Malchus connects. How does he do that? He shines, so that's these two nischos, which are every Likutei Torah you have, thank Hashem. Adam will tell you, yeah. Wow, he's Jewish. Wow, I'm a sure, wow. But it's film. What a bracha. You have to thank Hashem and every Likutei Torah. Big Ashmis, Baruch Hashem, I have food. I got from food today, that's okay. Wow. Yeah? I have this, I have that. Baruch Hashem. I know about the Rebbe, I know Yosef. Oh, now you're doing it. So you have to wake up this Shvuch Hashem, okay. This is what Yosef Rebbe gives you, and the Rebbe gives us. This is all the eights of Tsaddik and Sheilas Shruchav. And you have to pick yourself up and attach to the truth that Hashem wants to be mashpia to you. You just have to make kelim. Hashem gives kelim in the makom of kedusha. You're not in that place. But if you open your mouth and you talk to Hashem, right? You're throwing chitzim, which from far you have the cherev and the keshes. Cherev, which is close, which is shul Hashem makom on the spot. But you have the keshes. I got to attack with Hashem. You throw chitzim. You throw them till if you shoot. You feel far. But ask Hashem, I'm not. It opens up. You start with genicha v'noya. You start with a krechts, with a charota, with screaming, right? And you do a lot of that. But in every one, say, Baruch Hashem, I spoke to the Eibishter. The tefillah needs shivcha shamakom. Shivcha shamakom means that you believe that there is Mashiach, which is tefillah. So then Yosef can't give you the power. So here we take a guy who's like, he's in the mud, he's knocked out, it's completely. I would say, no, you got to eat this in the summer. I give it up. I says, you wake him up. He says, hey, his head wakes up, some das awakens on him, right? And what does he do? What can he do? What he can do, he can thank Hashem. Hey, the bulb lighted up. It was dark for months. I had no brains at all. You know, there's a life, there's a different kind of life. There's a Torah, there's Eibishter. So you do that, then you have to use Shivcha. Why? Because it has a cherev b'piyas. Now what is this cherev b'piyas? This cherev b'piyas isn't, it's a rachman. But what's the Torah is called mishpat. There's like a line in the middle, there's a klolius right and left. Your side, there's a klolius of right and left which takes a person, shines into Malchus, even when to load the plain Amunah, right? But there is the main line in the middle, there's a klolius always, there's chesed, there's gura, right? Chesed is, well, chesed, gura is tough. And tzif tferes, which is machet, right? So that's called mishpat. What's the main mishpat of the Torah? Bris. The mishpat of the Torah is zehiras. Watch what you're doing, right? Mishpat of the Torah makes Yekadishas bris. Bris comes from mishpat. What does it mean? Bris? It's mishpat. Watch what you're doing. If you're normal, you know what are you doing. Where does the mishpat go? To das. It makes you have seichel. Where does das go? To Midas Harachman. Das becomes the kezer, becomes Midas Harachman. So there's a line in the middle which is called the mishpat. Klolius HaMishpat is the bris of the Eibishter. Now that bris, there's a lower part of the bris, and the higher part of that bris. The lower part of the bris is what happens with us in here. And we're stuck. The higher part of the bris is the Midas Harachman, which is footprint, which is also in the middle. Right? So that's fixed, because that's what the Eibishter made. And even so, this world, the Albert works with din, with mishpat, right? If you come to the Midas Harachman, right? If you come to the Midas Harachman, there's a different anog, there's a hog of Rachman. Well, what is the Midas Harachman? Cherev. Go right and left. If you're in the left, you're in the Gashmis, the sort of Astor, the Clippers. If you want to go to the right, hey, you want to get out of there, right? So you have the right and left, which is cherev, v'cherev, that's v'cherev. That cherev makes you go right and left. Get out of the bottom and go to the right. Make a klolius. But if a person makes this thing, he wants it, which means he talks to Hashem, he thanks Hashem, he talks to Hashem, so he's making a clothes, right? So he switches over from the Hoga of Mishpat to the Sata, which is the free field development Mishpat. The world goes that way. And you're in a different category. Because you came to the president, so you're not talking with these guys. You came to the king. The king said, I can't kill no more minutes. I'm not going to forget about it. I didn't mean I forgive you. So the way to get to that is which is the Krishma, right? So this is what he says over there. Yosef Sheshamar Sabres. Yosef means that Yosef's thing was to bring in through all the Shvatim this clothes. They didn't have that clothes. They didn't understand him. So what are you talking about? Vekas, the higher saying, if we go this, so we have this there, we have this there. He says, no, the main thing is bris. The bris with the Eibishter. Bris means a harbor, cheshik to the Eibishter. All the good rods, cheshik to the Eibishter. Right? So this was Mizgal. They sold him and they threw him in. They brought him in to be the guy, the one that Tsaddik is so oil, which can go down to Mitzrayim and turn Mitzrayim over. So he as well, he notar as Hapchoyer. So he got the Pchoyer of Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael, I mean, there's Ephraim and Menashe. Most of Eretz Yisrael is Ephraim and Menashe. They're very big, right? Ephraim and Menashe starts over here from, we're here in Jerusalem, which was like Yehuda over here. We're in Binyamin already, right? Right after that starts Ephraim and Menashe. Menashe had more. They had to do on Evel Yarden also. It's the Eretz of the main Megodim, the Megad Shemaim. I'll say there was so many Peiros, and it is in the Eretz of Ephraim that the Peiros, there's not enough room to store them. It was such Megad Shemaim. We didn't Megad, no, a bullshit. Sweetness. It was a blessing of sweetness that came without a Shabbat. This was most of Eretz Yisrael. Goes up it was most of Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because they were the Pnei Bris, which the Shechina and Peschabet Bris, the Binyamin and Yerushalayim, Yehuda. Now, over there was the Likutei field also. Because if you lose that Bris, so you got your Beneva and all you got the worst one. So you just fold the other way around. Just to say they took the Pur, which means Menashe Ephraim, that's that. Because Menashe Ephraim means Menashe is the smell, the feeling. Menashe means feelings. Your feelings are low. Ephraim means Kedusha, holiness. So these are the two main works of a person. This either it's this way or it's that way. So Yosef has that right way, and he says, I can give you a new start. Get over us, you're going to be in feelings. Just put this one out. I'm talking about the Yud-based TV and Nefesh explained in the Sefer Yitzurah, Sefer Yitzirah, Reuven is seeing, is two things, suffers, is Machshavim. Menashe Ephraim is these two things.
Again.
And these two things, the Rebbe says, is teaching us over here, right? That these two things are you must change your feelings with the sword of Tefillah. If you just come back to the Eibishter, go out of that Mishpat de Lesata, how do I come back? Say Shifra Shamokim and stop praying. So that's what the Rebbe gives to Gaklali. Gaklali is just saying Shifra Shamokim. Just say Shifra Shamokim. And it's a bit word. That's what we have to do all the time. And we get back to that. That's what Krishma Shalamit is. You like Krishma, you like the say Shifra Shamokim, this Psukim Ashmira. It's a chib, you go sleep. You go, you nefesh to Hashem, and that's where you start, a new start. A new scholar, right? Okay. So that's the main pirish of, just to connect this thing with, it says before, the union of Lizainu Shal Mashiach, which the Tefillah is the Lizain, and that's what we have to start. So the Rebbe reminds the union of Charavi and Bekashti in the beginning, that Yaakov gives over the Cherev and the Keshes, and he also reminds the union of the Kim Hilalnu, which is the Midas Rahman. And that's what we have that in the Krishma also, and that's what Yosef does. That's what the Rebbe says. I'll bring to in Lekim Hilalnu, which is Midas Rahman. You just have to be Oisik and Cherev Pipias. What do you have to watch out from? Don't mix into the Rebbe's business. It's like ruin. Can I do it? Can I take care of you? Don't say, I think this would be better. Just listen to the Rebbe's aces. Be miskarev, no, miskarsha to the Tsaddik who has this cherev. He can bring you in the Ha'ora of Likutei Moharan, which is Pnimius holiness. It's like the whole Pnimius HaKadosh is what Mashiach will bring into the world. We're missing the part of their service. Shivas Ruach, the Likutei Moharan, Sats Samoa is Mamash, it's the Pnimius, completely. And it just turns over, it's like going to be in first Baruch, we're going to have wrong, we have 4 or 5 times, that's 4 times it goes, Pnimius HaKadosh. This is what the Cherev is already. This Cherev, why Chris right, is the same, it's taking Pnimius HaKadosh. Okay, sorry to go into deep stuff, but this is the way it goes over here. Now we have to do something more deeper. The Rebbe says over here, that as you say that Yosef got an avodas tefillah, so he explains something else, which is also, Shemus HaKodesh, right? Just to give you a picture, that all the shameless in the world are waiting to pick you up, and they're all right next to you. Just do the first step. Just do 1 step, and do that step every day, and don't look back. Do 2 steps. Do it again. The step is being besimcha, thanking Hashem, and praying. Just do that step, because this is the sort of Mashiach. It's like the clueless of right and left. You have that right and left, you're going to be in the middle, you're going to get the Shefa Rachman. You give up, you're on the left side. Yosef wants to shine. Now, what does he shine? So we have this wall. Alken Yosef, the Shus Zucher Penas Tfile, Shepenas Tehilus Yechdan, Penas Chias Hanimshach, Menuk Vede Padash, Kalken Nikra Ben Koiras Yosef. But the Penas Tufresh Pevu, Eures, Tapu Eures. Padash is Gematri, with the Koil over there is Gematri, yeah? With the Tapu, with the Koil is Gematri Padash. Which all is our Shemus, right? So all the Shemus HaKodesh, all these Shemus HaKodesh, this is the main thing about how the Eivish, the Kaviochos, and Mislabish, the Midas HaRachmem opens up. And when the Midas HaRachmem opens up, right, it shines into every other place. When we're now, there's a sphere, which is how do we open up the Midas HaRachmem in a way of Eimer and Tzimtzum, where the whole thing isn't in place yet. How do we get this Shefa of Das, the Shefa of the Kus? So there's a Kus called Shem Ab, which is Orech Chochmah, Shem Sag Zarabina. Yeah, everybody knows that, right? It's just I have to explain these things in English, like so, yeah, but there are many people learning it these days. And more is like the main thing of a person, getting this, the more the urge to get into the Midas and the Shemban, which is all these Shemes have a Levushlag, which is called Shem Ekya. So I don't think we can get into talking about this, but we just have to know one thing, that Yosef's Nukva the Pardashka, right, is Prunas Yosef. It says that Yosef was Zoicha the Tefillah, which is Tefillah is Prunas Tilusi Echdoin. So what's the Rebbe say over here? Tefillah is Tefillah. It says before, he's explaining what we learned at the beginning of this Torah, is that right? That we know what is Tilusi Echdoin is. What does it mean Tilusi Echdoin Choitam? And Choitam means Pardashka, right? So as it says over here, said Nikta the Pardashka really is a Ha'ora, which we don't have today. It's a very big Midas HaRachmem. We have the Mikveh Ta'alim, and we have to mounting the dinim, right? But so Pardashka is Gematria, what? Tapu, which means that if you're miyachad yourself today, but you're metakel these yichad. It says a person is going to be yichad k'tzabir v'shrinte, every should work all around us. Now we're going to be yichad k'tzabir v'shrinte every day. Right? And every yichud, right, we're miyachad like the shiddim with the emunah with the das, but not higher. Now, if we're skasha to the Rebbe, we're mamshach ha'oyer of of Rachman Gedolim, so Abbasak, right? Chochma Bina, right? You know what I'm trying to bring out? So instead, if you have a skasha that it's tzaddik, right? So you really bring in what Likutei Moharan makes. Likutei Moharan makes this hour in Pnimius. Now, you don't have it now, but if you start with tefillah, which then you are miyachet, right? These tefillahs, when we say the tefillah over there after the karbunas v'k'toros, which they know, which they know. So we say over there that what? The Shochadas Hayach Mizbeach Sofoino. We say that pasuk in the Old Siddur. We say that, but in the Siddur of the Sfaradim, and we say that's pasuk later. Right? Sofoino is gematria levoina, which is gematria Hashem Echad. Why? Why is it called Sofoina? Sofoina is when hidden. It's being hidden in the heart of a person. When a person is hard hides by Hashem, is miyachad all is outside, which is gematria. But this is Sofoina is also gematria Hashem. Is that right? Oh, hey, take a look at it. It's funny though. Oh,
It's really good place.
it's fine enough now. Shas says Mihan.
With the Kirby direction I'm in first.
Is the Islam base? Machad Absag Mobile, right? Is Islam base? Right. And at Muftach Loshem, the Benoisa, what does it say with the Loshem of this Loshem about?
Stripping me. What?
So in other words, I mean, there's a way to understand this Hagoya. Right, do you have it over there? And then in the Tefillah, don't know. Heilige Siddur, that's no. So I'll read what it says there. Yes.
Ik ma coil absak man ben, wat die kapel kai.
Upsetting the bar, I don't know.
Het foinu kam habram se foinu.
Tzfino,
Tvino en status status de fly.
his Chatam go away, get it? The Eber says, you're by Hashem, you're hidden by Hashem, and the Chatam can't touch you anymore. So if you just mechaber, how you mechaber these things, huh? How you mechaber this? So there's two ways. One, when there's a Likutei Padashke, so the Shefak comes from the Shur, from the Malach, into Malchus, right? This is what Mashiach is going to make. The world comes Pnimis. It's like the Or HaSaviv and the Malach get together. The Elikus, it's like the biggest smoke can come in Pnimis. But there's another way. That's why I think that's what Rebbe made. This Hagua, what does the Rebbe mean in this place? He's telling us that Yosef, that Yosef Telusi Echtam and Echtam is Padashkan, which that's Ben Poiras Yosef. What does it mean? What is he trying to tell? So in a plain way, he's trying to tell us that the Koyach of the Tsaddik, there's just how Shiur Mikra Padashka into all the Oiris. And all the Oiris come out for this Padashka because this Chutme is a Shurj of the Midas Arat. Midas Arat, when this Galit comes out, upside Moban, and all the Bush, everything is good. So that's one way of understanding this, right? But I have a different way of understanding this. That was Ben Porus. Yes, why is Ben Porus? Because Yosef is Porus. He shines in all these territories, all these Shabbos, all these Kedushas, which this brings in Shefam and Moich and Arachmim and Horis Mashiach. And Rebbe says that this is what comes on what? That what is Ketulia in Pishtayim. So in Pishtayim means that a person that works from the Mata Lamaila. Right, so that's the word of Kabbanis, which is, if you have macro yourself, which is Kriyash Masharamit, and Chabish, Becharbois, and that way you bring in the Dados Os. So you also bring it. So there's the way I have to take Nabres, because this is stick Nabres. You see this? Okay, so I have just two ideas. It's hard to explain such things. Right? So we have two ways to understand what this Absag Ma'aban, what's the Ben Peres Yosef, Ben Peres Aliyayin. It's the way we have clear Machshavas, so we'll see that later. Okay, so everything is one thing. Believe in the Rebbe, don't mix into what he says. Reuben just says, I have a different idea, don't change it. There's a thing where the Rebbe teaches us, it says, we besimcha, look at Yakudas Teves, go into Seichel Shabachol Dover, come over Sefer B'Teva. Don't mix into it. The derech of learning and davening, don't mix it. Right? Reuben said, exactly, why are you going here? Go over this is better. Go. Just listen to that. It's just, no, learn further. So we got the whole thing. We got the main idea now. That how we could try to concentrate on understanding how people at all levels can get better and get that cherub tefillah. You start with this, you get to getting the cherub and the keshes. Wie ze zoeken de cherub was, hè? Zo geleden ik lilchen met mijn cherub. Shliado is er yamino l'smoshe, ke'el le'la sar v'lo yachte. So the Rebbe says that there's such a thing as yozoicha de cherub. How are you zoicha? Means, yeah, Hashem gives you a feeling of closeness. And hey, you can say to him, because it's finished. It's not how it's supposed to talk to Hashem. You feel a little close to Hashem, right? Close, you got the cherub, which is the Horah for the Sarach. You get that Kriyas Shema. You got that cherub of Todah V'Doah, and you get into it. You always got it. So don't lose it. So says the Rebbe, what? You have to know how to wage war with it. Because you're still in the place, you have to bring Midas Arachmim into your life. There's so much to change. There's so much to get to. And you need a lot of issues begashmis. So what do you have to know? You have to know how to use the sword. So worry about use a sword. Using a sword, just going like that, you can do it. But if somebody's with a sword against you, you got a problem, you know? Right? You use a sword like the whole day. It's just but somebody, you don't know what using a sword means. Your sword, you got to stop him. You got to, okay, so also, you ever do that? No, so, okay. So that's what using a sword is. So what does this using the sword mean? Shikalel asara v'lo yashta. Right, so he reminds the pasuk which goes to a keshes. Kalel asara says, "Man, baby Yaman," that what they use as keshes. Why you say the pasuk of a keshes is the figure of a sword. He says using a sword, and he says it mostly, which is by a arrow. Right, because kalel asara, what? Hey. They say they shot back players big of it. They shot exactly. You know, you good snipers, huh? Rings. So what's going on here? What is this idea? I was just explained that Yef showed the Panas Mishpat. Okay, we're going into this main array of Mishpat, which is like the main avodah of a person. The Rebbe tells us later a school about that, and I always explains that there's a whole of Machshavas, Zorus, and Bilbulim. Right, and by some people it's just you need a new generator. You know how they outside you need to finish completely. You know, you're completely out. You have no brain anymore. You're just burnt out, and that's when how a person goes and burnt out, and you're blacked out, and he's knocked out, and so there's no mishpat. Now, what does a mishpat mean? What does mishpat mean? We're going to go into just get this thing. There starts later. The mishpat is pronounced einan. Machshava. So what does einan mean? You know? Okay, so just let's get it. Einan usually means ein mishpat, ein Yaakov. The ein Yaakov always means that the pushes the madreg of malchus, right? Right. This is part of the cherub is abkal, which is the ein matacht and the ruatacht. The place pushes the world over here. You don't see here. Here we don't have einan. It's dark. You have the negative ayin. You have ayin, and you have ananin and mikhasin al ayin. Remember, absaram is irta, which is a big little bull and a small bull. Right? Okay. Remember, absar means there's no surge of orbayu, and remember, there's big problems down there, which puts you out. So there's no ayin. Ayin means pashta samadama, which goes down. You lose you don't see anymore. Right? Ein Yaakov means the Ein that gets Ur from Yaakov, which is also Yaakov. It's also the Urs of 5 Havayas, 10 Havayas. 5, yeah.
Fair.
So let's just get into this thing. What does Mishpat mean, right? Mishpat means that we're in a place which somebody's coming to fight with you. He's fighting with you. He's on the ground. And you have to think fast. I got to use my swords, right? I have to get to the point, right? Why do I have to get to the point?
So,
Because you have to take your
the bad.
nefesh, which is the sour, right? It has to scream to Hashem. The whole thing, thank Hashem or scream Hashem. You got to get from your nefesh, really thank Hashem, right? Sometimes it's just a glass of water, you know? You really thank Hashem for your heart, yeah? Right? Sometimes it's something in ruchnis. Thank Hashem for that. So he was praying for Hashem. Now, what's the opposite of this thing? The opposite is absent-minded, you know? Standing at davening, absent-minded. What does absent-minded mean? So it means that this, you're starting to have, you have a lot of problems, you know, and, you're not feeling good. You far from Hashem, you're mixed up, you have the whole thing, every day you have to ask tshuva, a person's whole life, it has to tshuva every day, that's the way it just rubs everything off. All that is, you just keep on just talking to Hashem, but we have to talk about it. But you're not in that mood, you know, so you don't have to think for the Patana Dashka, you don't have that light, so what are you talking about? You're talking about the news that was 20 years ago, no, something, just talk to the point. Well, you don't talk to the point, what are you doing? You don't talk about your problem. You're not thanking about anything reading because you don't remember what to thank. You know, what's the problem? The problem is, you can understand this problem and with one point. Nice point, right? Just like guy that, I got messed up. Somebody messed him up with something. It's easy. He got to go to court. They got a big case and it's really scary. They're going to lock him up for life or hang him on those weird ways. It's terrible, right? Right, so when he comes to court, right, he takes all his lawyers, he pays thousands of millions of dollars. And, these lawyers, they don't work that all, right? It's a game, just, they just come to the courtroom, they take a look at the case, they talk about another case, they mix up the cases, they don't know what they're talking about. So he sees, happening, nobody's talking for me. I got to talk to this judge. Right, so he doesn't talk to the judge like absent-minded. He knows his life is on, and the tweets he has, I said,
Depends.
Depends on how you explain it. I guess it's just, this is, I'm telling you, this is, no, but it says here, it says in this book, takes out the big books there, it says Dick said that. It says that guy said that, but it wasn't like that with this. How do you know that? Because look, that day I did that guy a favor. I didn't do that. Look, how do you know? Look at that book. Yeah, look at that big books. There's a whole files and books. Hey, you're right, Well, what happened there? The judge, the other lawyer gets up. Hey, what like that? Right? That says, okay, so he says, yeah. Well, what he says is right. Yeah, but what he said, that right, happened 3 years before that. Thanks to God. Oh, you a liar. Yeah. So he doesn't make you just messed up the paper. That's what they do there. In other words, you put your head in like you're standing for a judge. I'm just hard for me to say Mashallah today, but do you understand it? If you go to sit down with his brother, say, my life is at the crosshairs right now. Right? That's what he said. Right now, my life of him. What should I do? I thank you for this so much. But you're talking for your neshama. Is this Mish? But you're talking for a shayfet. It does mean more things. We're going to learn that later. There's Ein, and there's more explanations of this. But as the Rebbe explains over here, there's Pinas Teferes and Yaakov. And from the Claudius of, we're talking about how to get the Mishpat to the Sata to the Mishpat to the Le'ela. Mishpat to the Le'ela is when you talk to Hashem, Kolera Sarah, the Mishpat to the Sata is Mishpat. Because it came to Hashem. You're praying, you're Me'orim with the Sarah. The Mishpat to the Le'ela is then Hagom with the Sarah. It's called Chulpes, the middle. It's Claudius, the men with Smorel, and makes the men be swoops, starker with the Smorel. You're in a place with the Smorel as far to you. You just have to get to feel that there is a Shefer. The Eibishter is in charge. Here's the point. I'm standing right now with Har Eibishter. He's in charge. He wants to hear my Shvach and my Hidulas. He wants to help, and I'm telling him, Koleha Lasara to the point. Right? So it's Kavanah Satzfila. It's Kavanah Satzfila, but it's more than a Kavanah. It's, you're going at the Achdus Hashem, this is the point. It's mishpat, you know, I'm in the hands only of Hashem. There's no teva. There's no teva. There's no it happened. There's no what will happen. There's no what happened. I'm talking kaviyachol to the boss, to Eibishter, and he's listening to every word. So that's called Kalei Asar. That's bad. So if you zeichet to that chera, right, which is they gave you, it means you started going to the Gedush Sabris, you started connecting with Eibishter. You want to get into more, which is Mashiach. Your Mashiach. Your Mashiach is getting into Midas Torahs, getting into a Hegel of Zehiras, a life of Torah and Tefillah, getting into more and more, getting into Mashiach, which is getting out of the Din. I'm getting close to Hashem. Yodas and Nefesh. So every time you come to Tefillah, start to feel like standing for the judge. With that little bit, you start like that, and of course you can't do the whole tefillah like that. Sometimes it works, at least a little bit. And that drop of Pnimis Mishpat changes everything, because you have a cherev, you have a thing that you can be mamshach v'edes harachman, but it's the hamshach of v'edes harachman means it's taking your nefesh and your mouth. It's like this is the kavanah of Krishna. I brought of Krishna is always mouth to get your nefesh and Mashiach's nefesh. So this is the point of mishpat. I'm taking my nefesh, I'm losing nefesh to Hashem, by davening, then you talk to Hashem. You know, I'm standing for the shofet. I have nobody else to help me. There's no teva. Everything is of Yad Hashem. This is the Pnimis Mishpat, which is like koil, everything we would explain later, just to get this. We get into Pnimis Mishpat, the Sata, we push ourselves into this, push it to the Eibishter, the Mishpat to the Sata, right, doesn't work with you anymore, because you're on a different level. Because you asked Hashem, and this is Midas Harachman. Midas Harachman means you're asking Rachman for Hashem. He lets you in. How much do you have to ask Rachman? Here's the answer. That's why the Rebbe reminds for cherev and keshes. Because the cherev is always the toy the ba'edah, and you're fighting with that close. The keshes is, right, that you can't get it close. It's not by you. It's your kalei asar far, which I know you already shofet. I'm in your hands far. Your kalei tefillah is far, it's in your hand. Talking about something else. It's like, you're talking about what's going to be with me. It's in your hand. It's your rachman l'chani. Your kalei to the midas harachman. Yeah, so that's all calling up shofet.
It's mishpat alayin. What is mishpat alayin?
Niet voor de pedashkes. It's mishpat.
Who has a mishpat alayin?
It's the mishpat of Rachman. It's close. It's also the middle. Yeah, it's like chutmez, right? It's the middle. It's the das. It's also the kes. It's always in that's kavah mitzoi, which is on the top. That's all the clothes comes from. So we see that the mishpat, the Sata starts with it's the Torah, and the Torah shmiras habris. He didn't do the Torah, he didn't shmiras habris. He messed up in the bottom. You want to get back up. How do you go back up? You have to be mekabel from the mouth. Now this is what he explains through. That's his Pnimis Yaakov, Pnimis mekabel from. You got to get to the Ferris. That's the whole thing.
Ferris down.
The Ferris becomes chaos. We'll see though. I think that's enough for today. All right.